Sail on, silver bird, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. All your dreams are on their way, sweetie. Oh, really? That's great. Except what if I had a nightmare? Yeah, well, those are on their way too. You better watch out. See how they shine. Okay, welcome to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language, where Jessica Gonzalez stops in and says, "Me no giga jabe," which in English is good morning. Bonjour, my girl. How are you? Welcome to the show. Me no giga jabe. Good morning. And this has been the Ojibwe word of the day, courtesy of yours truly, NANABOOZHOO, and Jessica Gonzalez. You know, the Mexicans are just Spanish-speaking Indians, right? Is that right? Yep. They get no respect, you know? Where's their noble savage, stereotype? Oh, no, they're stereotyped as being hard workers. Oh, I got to clean. No, the Mexican people are stereotyped as being, at the same time, will work really hard for nothing and lazy. You can't be both. I mean, pick a racial stereotype. Like, for Indians, what is it? We don't like to work. There's an old Indian joke. They go, where do you hide an Indian's, per cap? Under their work boots. Work boot. That comes from an old blue collar culture. Go get your work boots, son. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, racial stereotypes. You know, where I'm from, there's basically two races. There's white and Indian. And, I don't know. People from small towns get a bad reputation. People assume that there's like, oh yeah, you must come from a very racist town. I hear you're from a very small town. You didn't even have a a street light. Must have been a bunch of rednecks there, huh? And you go, well, yeah. If by redneck you meant, a self-sufficient, gun-owning, hunting, fishing, used truck driving, country music loving person, then yeah. I'm not saying that's bad. It's just what happens. So, but really, I mean, if I'm being honest, race just wasn't even brought up that much. It's not like my grandparents sat around talking about what it felt like being boarding school survivors. Oh, honey, let's have another conversation about our trauma. Remember when we were little kids and it was so hard? They didn't do that. They just got on with their day. So, so how you doing, Jessica? Jessica says, I'm a Caribbean Indian. How do you say that? Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? Billy Ocean thinks it's a Caribbean Queen. Now I don't remember. It's Pirates of the Caribbean. Beats me, man. She says, my ancestors made that famous first contact. Oh, wow. Yeah. You can't even be a Caribbean Indian without You know, the stereotype. Oh yeah, you guys are all a bunch of oppressors. Jessica says, the first way you said it, but I think people can say it either way. Caribbean. I don't remember how I first said it. Anyway, well, bonjour, Jessica. I'm glad you're here today. Today is Ojibwe word of the day. I wasn't sure what to talk about. I originally put up humility, Dabadane Dizzy Win. And I thought, oh, this will be good. We'll talk about the 7 Anishinaabe values and how humility is so important. Dabadane Dizzy Win. The wolf, the Ma'inga. See, I could have. I'm going to waste all this. The wolf represents humility. And, you know, I didn't pray on it or anything. Hankichimanadu. Oh, that's right. I didn't hear word one from you this morning. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I'll pray before I start a show. I'll be like, Gitchimanadu. Daga dapanaman niwi asema. Please accept my tobacco. Give me wisdom. And, you know, Daga, you know, we duka wishin minaway nungum. Please help me to speak well today. And then, you know, I'll say a little prayer. and I hope you'll, you know, I don't hope anything. I just do it, and things seem to work out. Oh, that's right. Leave it up to me, mate. I won't always answer. Yeah, I know. You almost never answer. But I'm listening. And sometimes my answer will be yes, and sometimes it'll be no. And sometimes it'll be, I'll tell you later. You'll never know. I am the great mystery. Yeah, I know. You never really know. Hey, Grieving Turtle is here. Good, I'm glad you're here. I was going to talk about Gushgaindom. He or she is sad. And I did a show once where it was like Gushgaindom got gay, or Gushgaindom does he win got gay, and grief healing or sadness healing, because I had a book I was promoting called Grief Relief. And I did a series of, so here's the thing about humility. With humility, Dabadane Dizzy Win, I was going to talk about why it's important to be humble. And then I was thinking, okay, let's see. Well, you know, I could show some of the cartoons I've drawn, some of the books I've written. You know, it's so cool to tell people that I've got comic books for sale on Amazon.com. And this whole year, it feels like so many of my childhood dreams came true. You know, this was the year, or Michael's dreams came true. Sorry. This was the year when Michael kind of became realized as an actual cartoonist, musician, you know, now podcaster. You know, so it was a really good year, in spite of everything that the internet wants you to think. In this house, it's been we've been having fun. So, I'm gonna get a little taller here. Guess not. But then, you know, I just started looking into my comics, and I was like, I can't talk about humility and then just turn around and brag about who I am. And how can I talk about humility anyway, when the only thing I really know about being humble is being humbled? And then I started thinking about when have I been humbled? And it's like, well, every time I had depression, every time I went down on the old roller coaster of feelings, I would feel Gushgaindom, sad. Gushgaindom, Ningashkendam. No, Nigashkendam? Nigashkendam. That feels like nin. Ningashkendam. I am sad. And I'm not really sad, but I have been. And I really like this cartoon of Michael's. It was the illustration for a book, or a comic book he wrote about the stages of grief. And I think on Amazon it's called Suicidal Skunk. And I was talking to a lady who worked with suicide prevention, and she was like, yeah, it's kind of, oh, and there was a picture of a noose. There's a couple animals feeling bad about their friend. Oh no, it was anti-suicide. That's what it was. It wasn't. I did one on grief, or Michael did one on grief, and one on suicide prevention, and then one just on feelings. You know what? Let me get those pictures. And I'm going somewhere with this, so just hold on. Oh, wow. What's left? There we go. So, these are Michael's books, comic books. And they're kind of like, if I'm being, completely honest, they're sort of like long comic pamphlets. Feelings talks about, just different types of emotions. It's really for little kids. And it's like, what are some feelings? Sad, mad, angry, scared, very simple. But grief relief is about the 10 stages of grief. Little Jagag there, little Skunk, his grandma dies. he's really having a hard time with it. And so Stephen comes down and gives some advice. And actually, Stephen doesn't give any advice. Stephen and Ace Frehley are up in a spaceship, and they're scanning the Earth for emotions. They want to learn about emotions. And they find Jagag just crying around about his grandma dying. And so, they scan his thoughts. And Stephen's all like, don't do that, man. That's rude. That's private. But they find what he's thinking. And then they ask the ship's computer, what are the causes of grief? What makes a person, feel sad? And so, and then Michael, what'd you do? Just find a pamphlet on all the stages of grief? That's exactly what I did. Yeah, okay. And so then it just spells out, shock, denial, anger, deal making, whatever. But then also like resolution and what it looks like. And it's a pretty cool comic, for that kind of thing. And then Suicidal Skunk is where that art comes from. And the original title I actually liked better than Suicidal Skunk. Or maybe, yeah. The original title, is I Can't Talk About It. There's some things that are just so painful. Let me see. I'm going to try to get rid of this. I can't talk about it. What are the things that you can't talk about? What are the things that make you gosh gaindom sad? I can't even talk about what I can't talk about. All right, I got to change the tone of this, or I'm never going to get through this podcast. Today we're going to talk about Gush Gaindom, the Ojibwe word of the day, Gush Kingdom. He or she is sad. And what do you do about that? You know? You gotta pick yourself up. You gotta dust yourself off. You gotta figure out a plan. What am I gonna do so I don't lose hope? So I don't, completely fall apart. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Gush Kingdom. If you're sad, there are things you can do. First of all, create a... when you're sad, the first thing you should do, the best advice I ever got, no, it wasn't. It was just good advice for the time, was clean up your room. Clean up your house. Don't wait to feel better for it. The actual act. Nobody says, oh, I'm so sad. The only thing that would make me feel better is if I could wash dishes. But having a clean kitchen will start taking away some of that. So if you find yourself anxious, depressed, crying around, and you don't know what to do, you do know how to clean your house. So clean your house, rearrange the furniture, hang up some pictures, make a space, and get your mind off of your mind and get your mind on your environment. Get into a yellow room. You're like, oh, I'm so poor. I got nothing going on in my life. How can I possibly be happy in a basement apartment? And this isn't a basement apartment, but you can decorate it. You got no windows, no light. Go buy a candle for $4. Buy a little tea candle. Turn on the old, NPR radio. Listen to some classical music or something. Create a nice environment. And now that we're sitting in this nice, artist studio, I'm going to talk about the Anishinaabe way of dealing with your problems. See, we have this thing called the Mushkiki de Tibisaid, the medicine wheel. And the medicine wheel is a sacred symbol that represents the fours of everything. On the medicine wheel, there are 4 colors: red, white, black, and yellow. Much like the stereotyping of the 4 races. The blacks, the whites, the reds, and the yellows. A lot of us around here are the reds. We call ourselves the Redskins. And yes, I know that's come to mean football player in many cultures. What am I talking about? So the medicine wheel is right here. And that's why I was set up over here. Medicine wheel, so it represents 4 races, and the 4 directions, and the 4 seasons, and the 4 elements, and the 4 stages of life, and the 4 everything's 4. It's crazy. I used to think everything was 3, Now I think everything's 4. But one way to think of the 4s is that what your life is. It's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And when you're depressed, when you're sad, a lot of people go, oh, I got sad emotions. It's like, oh, yeah, that might be part of it. That identifies, let's say, it's not like you can have good mental, physical, and spiritual health and just be experiencing sad emotions. A lot of people just kind of plow through life thinking, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm just going to cover that up, but I'm going to get on with it, and I'm going to go, run a race and read a book and go pray. But when people talk about the emotion of sadness, they don't say, I have sadness. Yeah, they do sometimes. But they usually say, I'm sad. Like, I am that thing. That is who I am. I am sad. I have sadness, but they usually say, I'm sad. They definitely say it with being mad. They go, oh, she made me mad. Mad used to be another word for crazy. You must be mad. You must be crazy. But now it means angry. But sadness, gashkendam, is a result of when the other three things fall apart. The stereotype of the jolly fat man, speaking of stereotypes, is really off. Not many people get happier as they get fatter. It's like, I used to be in great shape, but then I was so unhappy that I started eating candy. I started eating cookies. And don't get me started on the cookie wars these days. Vanilla wafers. Yeah, trans women are men. What? Shut up. You're supposed to be making really bland, tasteless, unhealthy cookies that nobody eats. Was it Oreo that was like getting on board with trans activism? What? But anyway, if your physical body isn't good, it's going to affect your mind, your mental state. It's going to affect what you think about, Sometimes even people like, they can look like they're in good shape, like guys who get on steroids. They can get big muscles. But then that'll affect their mental state. You'll get roid rage, and they'll start freaking out and getting real angry. That'll affect their emotions, And people don't even know where to start when it comes to spiritual. That's become such a corrupted term, Everyone thinks spiritual is either being a Christian or being, a new age person. A lot of people, in my life, it got real popular to say, oh, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Meaning, I'd never go to church, but I definitely believe in something. And I love music, and I love love, so I'm definitely a spiritual person. I can't explain how I otherwise have no spiritual practice. It's like, well, that's not your fault. Most of these churches, if we're being honest, they don't do a very good job. They somehow hire and elect the last guy you would ever think to be like a spiritual anything, Finding a pastor is like finding a manager of a bank, Churches have just kind of... I think there was a time when churches really served a purpose in the community, when people still cared about morals and they thought there was like the right way to be just objectively. And the church would say that, don't drink and drive, don't drink, don't smoke, don't have sex outside of marriage. The church talked like that. Then all the people said, hey man, shut up about that. We're not here to tell you. We didn't hire you to tell us what to think and do. Just read that Bible and, orchestrate the hymns or whatever. So people don't know what spiritual is, and I'm still learning every day, but I'm starting to figure it out as I get older. So gashkendam, you're sad, right? And you want to, first of all, you got to recognize it. Why am I eating 6 meals a day? Why do I have just a couple of big old spoonfuls of ice cream first thing in the morning while the coffee's, getting made. Oh, I'll wake me up, You finally come to a point, you go, gee, I'm sad. And then, there's another level. I don't know if there even is. And they go, oh, am I depressed? No, you're not depressed. You're just kind of sad because it's cold out. And you're sad that you didn't, you don't have more money. Like there's a difference. But now I'm kind of no, I think depression, clinical depression, they want to make it like official, is exactly the same thing. I'm sad. Jessica, I just saw your thing. Jessica just wrote, I don't wanna, and then the emoji for a taco, and then it says, bout it. I don't want to taco about it. I know you're referring to that cartoon, but that's really funny. Anyway, quit distracting me. I'm talking about something here. Nah. So, you want to get out of it. Some of the really good advice I heard once was, let's say you're sad and they call it being groundless. There's no more, you can't deny anymore. Let me get rid of this. There's no more pretending, it'll probably work out. You hit rock bottom. You can't avoid it. It's going to be embarrassing. It is embarrassing. You lost your man. You lost your job. Everything, just nothing worked out. And you find yourself, gosh, Gaindom, sad. What do you do? Number one, think in those 4 terms. You got to improve every area. So get a pen and a notebook or a sketch pad or whatever, and write down what you want, who you want to be, how you want to live, and have the courage to be honest about that. Go ahead. Nobody needs to read it. Just write down, I want to be happy. Okay, what does that look like? All right. I want to have a new car. I want to have a nice body and a car that I never worry about that looks cool. And I want a girlfriend who's really pretty and who's really into me. And I want a job that I like, that I like going to. I don't want to have, if I'm being honest, I never want to have to go to a job. I want to go to my job. I just don't want to be, write it all down, what it would look like if you just had a magic wand. And then you got to write down the to-do list. Or actually, you know what you can do too? I did this once. Write what you want. Be honest. Write what it's really like. Be honest. So you go, I want to be, I don't even like saying it. I want to be famous. I want people to know that I have all this talent and to tell me, I really love the stuff you do. And I want to have all kinds of freedom to express myself. And I want to be cool. I want to be really cool. I want to have long hair and just wear whatever cool clothes I have and just do whatever I want. Was what I wanted. Then you write down a list, you draw a line, and you go, what is my life actually like? And you go, well, I have a job I hate. I don't have any money. I never pay my bills on time. I'm always scrambling to find rent. I don't have a cool girlfriend. I am next to... Not only am I not famous and well-loved, I'm just shy of being disliked. People find me kind of annoying and weird, and no one understands me, is the truth. I don't have an awesome body. And the reality is, if everything I've tried to do in life, the person who I tried to become, I didn't become that person. I became somebody else who has to work a job that he's always afraid of losing, that he doesn't do very well, and he doesn't like. and I can't afford to live the way I thought I would, or the way I wanted to live. And I'm always nervous and depressed, is the reality. Now, the to-do list. TODO colon. And draw a little square, and you go, okay, number 1. And then you're not even going to do anything. You're just listing things you would have to do to address each of those 4 areas. Physical. The reality is you're out of shape, and you're, a drunk, and whatever. What are you going to have to do? I got to quit drinking. How are you going to do that? Don't buy any beer. I'm overweight. What are you going to do? I got to quit eating cookies, and I got to start eating kale shakes. And I got to start walking every day. Okay, write that down. Just write it down. Don't even go on a walk. Just write it down. And just go through everything like that. Physical. What are you going to do? Write it down with a box to check off. Then you move over to the mental. What's your mental life like? What's in your brain? I'm always thinking about my childhood. I'm always plotting some way to get out of having to work and whatever. I'm always scamming some chick, hoping I can, get a girlfriend. That's the reality of my life. That's what's in there. And what do I want? I want to have a feeling in my mind of peace, but I also want to be like smart and creative and energized and peaceful, I want to feel happy, and funny and just good-natured. What are you going to do? All right. For some, maybe they think they have to go to therapy. Journaling is a good one. Mental things. This isn't, okay, I'm going to start working out, What can you do mentally? You can take out the things that are bad for your mental health. Is it really serving you to watch the news every night? And to, go down the rabbit holes? Is that making you depressed when you realize, all the conspiracies in life? Maybe that's not the best thing for your mental health right now. So you write down, okay, quit watching those conspiracy, quit watching the flat earth videos. And then, move on. Then your emotions. What kind of emotions do you want? Do you want to be the kind of person who has a road rage? Do you want to be the phony? The emotions where you pretend you're happy and carefree and your mind is racing all day long, and then you or do you want to feel confident? What kind of emotions do you want? Confidence, gratitude, humor, whatever that word is, where you find that sense of humor. Write it down and then figure out, what are you going to do? You have the wisdom. The problem is a lot of people think, I'm going to have to go to therapy, or I'm going to have to go into treatment. I'm going to have to get somebody who's an authority figure to fix my life. You already have the nabwak going, the wisdom. If you really just sit down, because that's what'll happen. Get your manadu. Yes, my son. No, I was just referring to you. I wasn't actually talking to you. Oh, sorry then. Yeah, no problem. The thing with wisdom isn't intelligence. Wisdom isn't earned. Yeah. I don't know, maybe wisdom's earned. Because it seems like the older you get, the better you get at it. There's no wisdom of a kindergartner, It's like, I didn't know, eating paste was so delicious. That really shows the wisdom of the kindergartner, But when you get spiritual, and this is where people who broke through to the other side, or leveled up, they all have a story The alcoholics, they love to call it a moment of clarity. They all have a spiritual awakening story where something happens. And for a lot of traditional Indian guys, I've never met a sweat lodge guy, a medicine man, who didn't used to be really unhappy and in really bad shape and whatever. And then something mystical happened and it sobered them up. And they just knew, it's like they were smart people and wise people. I think when you hit rock bottom, 'cause you hit rock bottom and you're there to stay. When you hit rock bottom, you can get spiritual, and Gitchimanadu will give you the gift of wisdom. And the wisdom will be like, how did I know the right thing to do there? Like, whatever it takes, everybody's different. I mean, in some ways. Like physically, you already, like, here's a good example. Some people think they don't know how to lose weight. Well, if you're being really honest, you do. Every person knows. Their body knows. If I run every day and I don't eat sugar, my body's going to respond a certain way. That's universal. I got a thyroid problem. Yeah, okay. There's exceptions, but I'm saying you already have the wisdom. You already know what you need to do. So don't worry about that. You can get yourself out of being sad right now. I mean, it might take a little while, but you already know what you need to do. Don't let thinking you don't have the wisdom keep you from trying. Because then, once you write down all the things that you want, all the things that the way they are, and then what your plan of attack's going to be, then you act like this was advice from Joe Rogan on his podcast. He goes, you got to act like you're the hero of your own action movie. And the movie just started today, and you woke up and, you make a blender full of pizza and ice cream, and you're all depressed, and there's like cigarette butts everywhere, and, beer cans, and you're just about ready to put the gun in your mouth. And then you see the picture of your daughter, and you go, I got to give it a try. And then it's the comeback story. And actually, that's why Rocky's so great. Because you see him, I guess Rocky's kind of like this. It's a comeback even if you never were up there. It's not really a comeback. It's just a winning story. It's the Charlie Sheen story. Winning. No. But then you pretend you're the character in the movie, and there's a camera crew following you around like a reality show. Pretend you're Donald Trump. No. Pretend you're Kim Kardashian. I don't know. Just pretend somebody's watching, and that later on, your kids will say, oh man, look at Grandpa. He really did what he had to do. He crushed it. He went from being a loser to being this cool person he always wanted to be. And wow, what an inspiration Grandpa is to us. Because it's not as inspiring to see a person who's like already smart and good looking and capable and rich, whatever, get the girl in the end. It's much better when you see the big loser win in the end. So if you're sad and things aren't working out for you, it seems like, don't despair, because that might be part of the path. That you finally get to the point where you become the action hero. And then, so write down the things you need to do, and then start doing them. And the good news is, you don't have to achieve the thing before you stop feeling so sad. Seeing just a little improvement is the whole thing It goes away. It gets replaced really fast. And you can see it like when a person starts a diet and they're 400 pounds. And then you see them again and they're 300 pounds. And they're wearing tighter clothes and their confidence are up and they're like flirting with girls. And they're like, hey man, I lost 100 pounds. Look at me. And you go, oh, wow, you look great. I can't believe it. You're only 300 pounds? And like if you woke up at 300 pounds, you'd be miserable. But so the progress is the goal. You don't have to become a rock star right now. You just have to get a better gig than, playing at a coffee house or whatever. Whatever the thing is that you think you want. Anyway. Does that make any sense? I hope so. Let's see what people are saying here. Jessica, sometimes admitting that your priorities have been out of order and realizing that they should be is a key to turning the things around for yourself. And once you know that, fake it till you make it. Yeah, the old fake it till you make it's really wise too. Just start pretending. They say that if you, this is so dumb, but I did this. If you just walk around your house with a big smile on your face, pretending you're a happy person, it will raise your endorphins or something. You actually will feel some relief to depression. But also, I heard this good advice from Adam Carolla about faking it till you make it. He goes, if you present yourself a certain way, people will take your word for it. If you show them a person who gets up every day, shows up to work, starts doing whatever the thing is. I know it was for me like this with cartoons and music and even this podcast. There was always a day where I had to start and there's some embarrassment to being bad at something. And you don't know how bad you are until later. Like that first, actually any of the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcasts from everything pre 2 years ago at least. It's just embarrassing. I almost want to take them off YouTube, except I want to remember how bad it used to be. But the progress, the fake it till you make it, it works. People will take your word for it. Show them a happy person. Show them who you want to be. And then I think it's Get You Manadu again, who will give you a little nudge in the right direction. You're not meant to be unhappy. Here's another just dumb thing about churches. People who focus on the sacrifice of Jesus and the pain he went through. Jesus was not an unhappy person. I think, and there's a really good show on YouTube called The Chosen that shows the story of Jesus from the disciples' point of view. But Jesus had friends and loved everybody and had a purpose in life. And, everybody to him was his favorite person. He was filled with love and happiness. But every time you walk into, especially a Catholic church, you look up there and there's old crying Jesus on the cross. It's like, is that really how we should remember him? Oh, it is my cross to bear. I think a lot of Native people get like this. We kind of get addicted to our own depression. Oh, we Anishinaabe. We have a deep sadness. But a lot of people will start to kind of identify with their sadness. I used to do that. It's like, well, I'm an artist. What? You want me to be happy? You think Michelangelo was happy? It's like, what? I don't know. What do you mean? It comes with the territory of being a genius. Nah, I don't know. What do you think, sweetie? Are you sad? Am I sad? No. Neiman Wyndham. I'm happy. Yeah, you are, aren't you? You guys wanna see a happier person come out here? Yeah. Well, Gush Kingdom. She is sad. And I'm not sad. This is but I have been in the past. And it's right there underneath the surface. That's the other thing I know. When you talk about these things, it can stir up a little. That's a raw wound. You know. But joy, I mean, grief, sadness, depression, in a way they're subtly different. But in another way, they're not. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sweetie, you want to come up here and save me from myself? Yeah, sure. All right. Hey, everybody. I want to say, Miigwech Bizendawiag. Thank you for listening to me. And I will see you again tomorrow. Gigawabamin, Minawa. All right, sweetie. What if we just covered me up with... It's behind me now. I'm trying to find a classy way of getting off camera that doesn't show everything. You can't talk about it. Well, you can't shut up about it either. Oh, I can't talk about it. I'm just a sad little skunk. Whatever can I do? Are you sad, sweetie? Not really. All right, here we go. Old sniffing skunk. She is sad. That was a great cover. Yeah, huh? Oh, and it's also one of those, it's a Charlie Brown rain cloud. It's just right over the skunk's head. I don't know. Everywhere else, it's like a nice day. But that's what depression's like. I know. It's like a cloud just following you around. And, all right, this is not as smooth as I'd hoped. I know, but I don't know what else to do. Well, Michael could get on there and they could just watch him do it. Yeah, I don't. That's what I'm hoping to avoid. So, you know what I found out that kind of helps my mood? Yeah, what's that? I dress in pink. You know, maybe it's shallow, maybe it's whatever. I don't care. It cheers me up. I like the color pink. I don't think it's shallow. I mean, I don't think a man should wear it. You know, I don't want to be a stereotype, but you know, you better get on that camera. I know, I'm going as fast as I can. What's the problem with a live show? Okay, here I come. Don't go anywhere, everybody. BOOZHOO! How you doing? I'm low again. BOOZHOO! Gush Kingdom! He or she is sad. And I am... Is that better? Yeah. So, BOOZHOO! See who's here. Jessica? BOOZHOO, Jessica? doing? Oh, you probably won't feel like doing what you have to do, but if you start doing it, it will make you start to feel better. When you see the results of doing the right thing, you will love what you're doing. Yeah, exactly. Like, I can put off cleaning, doing housework for months at a time. I'll just kind of put stuff away here and there. Rinse off the plate right away. But then when things start to, get to me, and I'll start cleaning. Just the other day, I couldn't stop. I was like, well, I'm just gonna clean up the kitchen, and then I kind of rearranged the thing, and then thought, well, you know what? Might as well shake the rugs. And I was like, well, while I'm at it, might as well scrub the floor. And pretty soon you're distracted by that stuff, and you're no longer sad. But then you also get into the thing you're doing. Yeah, like losing weight. When you start to lose weight, then pretty soon you'll be like, hey, whoa, I can't believe you're eating that. I never touch the stuff, blah, blah, blah. Nothing more inspiring than a person who loses a lot of weight. Is it body shaming if you celebrate somebody for losing weight? I doubt it. But yeah, just wanted to stop in. It can be a heavy subject. Dealing with grief. Trying to get over it. Tomorrow night, we're going to be speaking to a group in Ontario, Telagami, on the Bear Island Reservation in Telagami, Ontario. I get confused because I don't know if I should say, oh, think it'd help if I spoke into the microphone? Check. I think it'd be, or I get confused on how to talk about where we're going to be. Because is it on a reservation in the town of Telagami? In the province of Ontario? Or are you in a reservation on the town? I'm on a reservation in a town in Ontario above the United States, virtually. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I'm just a little girl. Don't look at me. So I don't know. Has that been an hour yet? I think it might have been. Okay. Well, everybody, I just wanted to stop in and say BOOZHOO. And to say me quitch. Gonna wubby egg. Thank you for watching. It's really fun to see you here. Yesterday we did a live stream on Facebook. And NanaBOOZHOO had all these videos and special effects. And you can see, it's hard to talk and move these graphics around. So we kind of wanted just to talk a lot today. I don't mean to speak for you, but I kind of know, what we thought about earlier. All right. Well, better mahjong. It's time to leave. Me quetch. Gonna wubby egg. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. The podcast about Ojibwe language, Gushganum, and culture, and whatever else. So yeah. All right. I will see you again. Gigawabamin. Minoa. Hoa. And live stream